What's going on, everybody? It is your boy, J-May, back checking in with the people, back with another video. In this one, we talking Last of Us Part 2. Now, Last of Us Part 2 is close to release. We are only 9 days away from getting our hands on greatness. Cannot wait. But in terms of lead up, in terms of build, Last of Us Part 2 has been getting news about the game, about the world, about just some of the things you're going to come across every week. And today, PlayStation had detailed the accessibility options that The Last of Us Part 2 has. Now, Naughty Dog has had accessibility options in some of their previous games, like Uncharted 4 comes to mind immediately when it comes to how far they're willing to go with some of the accessibility features that they put in games. Now, I never really got into the details of them because I never felt it was necessary, to be honest. And I know sometimes accessibility features can range. So even though some might be tailored to some individuals with disabilities, you might find something in there for yourself that you might be surprised they actually looked out for and paid attention to when it comes to accessibility features. Last of Us Part 2, they took it above and beyond. Over 60 accessibility features are within The Last of Us Part 2. I will link the article down in the description because I advise everybody to read it and understand the love and care that they put into it. And I'm almost 100% sure you're going to find something within the accessibility features that is tailored to you. Like I said, it's not just for people with disabilities. This is a whole range of options that they have going on. So I won't get into all the details of everything, but just some bullet points that I wrote down of some things that you'll be able to find customizable within these setting menus. Accessibility presets like vision, hearing, and motor. Alternate controls, definitely something that I would be dabbling in because I might want to switch up some of the controls in the game. Magnification and visual aids are within there. Motion sickness, which is an interesting one because while I do get motion sickness in the car, like if I'm riding passenger or if I'm on a boat or on a bus or something like that, I never have gotten motion sickness in a game. But I know people who have that situation the other way around where they don't get motion sickness in the car, but they have within the game. And one thing, actually a few things I noticed that were within the motion sickness settings was things like camera shake, motion blur, which I love to turn off, camera distance, and FOV. Those are two things that you rarely find in console games, but you can find it on pretty much every PC game. So the fact that they put those in Last of Us Part 2, I love that. Now, one step closer, we just need those graphic settings. Yeah, almost there. With all these accessibility features, give us the graphic settings, and we right there. We right there to where I want console gaming to be. In addition to motion sickness controls, we got navigation and traversal, text-to-speech and audio cues, combat accessibility, HUD, subtitles, and last but definitely not least is game difficulty. Now, as you can see the title of the video, The Last of Us Part 2 will have no difficulty-related trophies. Now, this was something that a few people on the internet were upset about, and I couldn't understand why. But I do want to read the game difficulty description really quick before I get into my opinion about all of this. It says, end quote, as an extension of our accessibility features, The Last of Us Part 2 also includes expanded difficulty options. At launch, we provide 5 different challenge levels: very light, moderate, hard, and survivor. We also allow you to customize specific aspects of difficulty to your needs or desired experience. You can individually tweak difficulty settings related to incoming damage, enemy and ally effectiveness, stealth, and resources. Trophies are not limited by difficulty, and this is what has people upset because for the past few PlayStation games, difficulty trophies have kind of been non-existent. Off the top of my head, I don't believe Death Stranding had difficulty-related trophies, or at least not ones about beating the game. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't beat that game, so correct me if I'm wrong. Days Gone, I believe, didn't have any difficulty-related trophies. And God of War, I know, didn't have any difficulty-related trophies because I did beat that game on Give Me God of War, and there was not a trophy available. So people are upset that with all these accessibility options that people in the community or gamers in general are going to take advantage of these features and beat a game on a harder difficulty while using these accessibility options, even though they are able-bodied, even though they don't need to have this much customization within the controls and some of the difficulty settings and things of that nature. My answer to that is, who cares? Like, people fraud all the time when it comes to beating these games. And this is why I stopped caring about playing these games and giving a crap about hard difficulty trophies just to show it off to somebody to prove that you beat a game. At the end of the day, nobody really cares. And like I said before, you can look up a guide to get assistance on the game. You can look up, you can get help from friends on social media. You can get help from friends on the actual game messages themselves if you're struggling. There's so many different ways that you can get around and find about how to beat a part, beat for beat. They'll take you step by step and get you through a hard game. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you're going to have some sense of ability to play a game, but at the end of the day, we're talking about a game that you can constantly play a part over and over and over till you get it. If you're following a guide, eventually you're gonna get there. You know what I'm saying? Versus not having the guide at all. So having a trophy pop up for something like that, are they cool? I guess. You know, I used to collect trophies, but once I realized like they really don't mean nothing at the end of the day. That's why I made a video, and I thought it was cool that you can actually get money from PlayStation for getting trophies. But once they scrapped that, I'm like, oh, I was going to go back to collecting trophies. I'm like, oh, never mind. I have no incentive to really even care. You know, I play games on the hardest difficulty because I want to challenge myself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, even playing these games this generation on normal, we have learned that normal is no longer even a resemblance of a challenge. Normal is like the new easy. So right off the rip, we're bumping it up too hard or very hard to start the game off just to play like that. But in terms of Last of Us Part 2, I've beaten that game on Grounded. I've beaten it on Survivor. I've beaten it on Normal. And everybody that I recommend play that game, I tell them to at least play it on Survivor or Grounded, because to me, that's the better way to play it. Sure, those difficulty settings might have their flaws, but those difficulty settings make it more of a survival game. They limit your resources. You know what I'm saying? They limit your resources. Your health. You know what I'm saying? You don't get as much health and stuff like that. The enemies do more damage and stuff like that. So it's gonna make the game harder overall, and that gives it more of a challenge. But Part 2 coming into it, I'm like, off the rip, I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty available. It doesn't seem like Grounded is there. That might come later on in the patch with trophies. So for the people upset about difficulty trophies, you might get what you want in Grounded. And maybe they won't allow some of the accessibility features to be accessed on that mode, which is what I think will happen anyway. But I don't care about the trophy portion, is what I'm trying to get through to people in this video. I played God of War on Gimme God of War knowing that it didn't have a trophy, but it's because I'm a fan of God of War. And I read up on the difficulty and what they did to change it from the other difficulty. And I said, you know what? That sounds like it's going to be a challenge. That sounds like something that I want to do. Didn't give a damn about a trophy. So you shouldn't either. I know people going to come at me for telling them, oh, they shouldn't care about trophies. Look, nobody cares. At the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Only you care about showing off your digital trophy to people online. No, play the game for you first. And then if you want to collect trophies after, I get it. But stop the notion that you're not excited to play a game on a harder difficulty because there's no trophy there. Stop that. You sound ridiculous. But get in the comment sections. Let me know what you guys think about Last of Us Part 2 not having difficulty trophies. Is it a deal breaker for you in terms of playing on a harder difficulty? Or do you not care about trophies and you play on harder difficulties to challenge yourself first? Of course, rate the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and I'll catch you on my next video. Peace.